without addressing the most important problem, which is the cost. We've essentially delivered ourselves to our enemies. If you were to have bought stock in insurance companies in 2008, your stock would have doubled. So the very premise of Obamacare, to squeeze out the profits of insurance companies, is an empty promise. Insurance companies are thriving, and our healthcare costs continue to rise. The second issue is regulation. There's regulation at every level. We know about it perhaps in our own wallets as the cost of energy. The cost of energy continues to go up in spite of the fact that we have enormous energy reserves in the United States and around the world. I would like to see the most important aspect of regulation, which is the cost or the impact of those regulations, how they affect small business owners like me, be taken into consideration. So I'd like to reform our regulations. And of course, this wouldn't be a Republican meeting if we didn't talk about taxes. We're number one. That's to say, the United States has the highest corporate tax rate in the world. When Japan reduced theirs on April 1st, we got the dubious honor of having the highest tax rate in the whole world. It shouldn't be a surprise that our companies, who are footloose, as economists will say, that can leave the United States for cheaper shores, do. They don't go there for the weather. And I'll say, as a guy who has a factory himself, I would never choose to put my factory in India or China or any other place in the world other than the United States if it weren't much, much cheaper to do that. Well, what is the real cost? Well, it should be no surprise that if you have the highest tax rate in the world, you're going to invite many of your big companies to leave. So, that's an outline of why I'm running for U.S. Congress. So let me put it in context. Someone asked on the way in, what are your chances? That's a legitimate question, and I don't blame you for asking. I'm facing an entrenched incumbent. His name is Stephen Lynch. He's not well liked by the left and not well liked by the right, but he's been there for a while. One of the questions I always get when I'm out there running for Congress, people say, you're running for Congress, who died? Well, for me, that tells you a great deal of how people think about Congress. They imagine it's a job for life. You get in there and you're done. You either leave in a squad car or a pine box, you know, and barring that, no chance. Well, I'm here to say I think we do have a chance. We do have a chance for a couple of reasons. One is Stephen Lynch's performance is not very good. The other aspect is we've just redistricted. We've drawn new lines. We've changed what was the old 9th district, and it's become the new 8th. 300,000 new people. Let me start with Stephen Lynch. He's well known as being an ironworker from Southie. He's on 2 committees. The most important one I think he's on is the Government Oversight Committee. We've probably seen him on YouTube recently trying to defend Eric Holder from the contempt charges. He's on one side of the aisle, Darrell Issa, and most of the Republicans, and a great number of the Democrats are on the other. We'd like to see Darrell Issa be successful in holding Eric Holder in contempt for the Fast and Furious charges. I don't know if you're following that.
We are.
Okay. But I think rather than cite all the ways in which Stephen Lynch betrays our trust, I'll say there are watchdog groups that look after and rate every one of the congressmen. The Government Oversight Committee really is in charge of making sure the government doesn't waste our money. Well, the Citizens Against Government Waste rates all of our congressmen. They give Stephen Lynch a lifetime rating of 9%. That's a failing grade. He's, in a sense, the fox looking out for the hen house.